somebody said that, you know, it isn't the law fine as it is because a school district or a teacher can be sued for negligence if they overlook assaultive behavior. Now, you seem to be implying that that may not be true. So are there certain, do people have redress right now, even if it's not enumerated, that they could sue if their child is being bullied or not?
One of the other big debates that's going to probably pop up in the legislative session is, which I think actually happens to coincide with this debate, is whether or not public schools should actually have the ability to tenure their teachers. Because whether or not a teacher feels safe in their environment is really important to whether or not they talk about sort of stuff with their kids. So the debate of whether or not a teacher can be fired for this reason or that reason, or sued or not sued. The other thing that's real interesting about the topic of bullying is it's cost a lot of money whenever a school gets sued because so-and-so is getting bullied. So it's real interesting. What? No?
I was just talking about, it's sort of, I wrote the question. It's sort of self-regulating in a way, though. I mean,
yeah.
The students, I mean, you can't, if you're in a position of authority, you can't let a child get beat up in front of you. You're liable.
Right. Yeah. You're totally liable.
The teacher is.
Right.
The school district is. Right.
And you can cost that school district a lot of money, and so that's part of the way that I'm going to attack this debate as well. Whenever it comes to the legislative session, it's like we've got to do something. So if you've got a different proposal of the way that things should change, then let's do it. But we can't stay the same. We can't keep the same thing and expect different results. My mom used to tell me that was the definition of insanity. Trying the same thing twice and expecting a different result. So.
Is your response to that, or
Well, I do. If you're requiring a policy of the schools that does not have specific lists to protect classes, but you're still requiring that they have a policy that addresses all bullying, number one, what you're saying is we have a lot of school districts in the state of Missouri who are just thumbing their nose at state statute, which there may be recourse facing those schools for that behavior. And I do agree that schools don't want to absorb liability for bullying going on. But I think part of that debate, part of that discussion, you really have to get to what is assaultive behavior. There's a lot of bullying that doesn't rise to the level of assaultive behavior that a court would recognize, and we wouldn't want our schools to move the bar on defining bullying to the point that it has to go to assaultive behavior, because at that point we have lost control of the student body. We've got to address bullying way before it gets to that point. We can all agree on that. The last thing we want, I believe, is for enumerated policies that leave someone behind, and while we're waiting to do follow-up legislation as we figure out who we've left behind, that now that type of bullying gets escalated to assaultive behavior because they're falling through the cracks as far as being protected by the policy. That's where I believe that a policy that protects everybody from whoever the bully is a superior policy, and avoids what's politically correct today in enumerations. 20 years from now, this list is going to be different because it'll be based on the politically correct whims of 20 years from now. And I think that's very unfavorable, and I don't think that's healthy for our society in general. I would rather see us as a culture continue to move towards more civility across the board rather than only in certain enumerated areas.